Alright then. It is a Friday, and might I add, a very, very strange Friday. But, anyhow, let's do this properly. Yep. Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another stream from Coolcraft Season 7. Now, today is a strange Friday because WAN show already happened today, so I don't necessarily have that as a hard end to when the stream's gonna end. So, in terms of hard ends, I'd say probably maybe when Jack's film starts his live stream today, because he's apparently doing something new, and I might want to check that out. Also, hello. Yeah, okay, everything's actually all good with the green screen for once. But yeah, so we're back here on Coolcraft doing more work on the perimeter now. Over this past week, I did actually do all the trenches. Video coming out on Sunday where all the stuff actually, is talked about. So today what we're doing is we're actually going to be that is the wrong thing. Okay. We're not actually going to be, maybe, depends on how long it's for, not necessarily going to actually start the process of constructing the world leader yet, but we are going to be building the platforms that I will stand on to build the world leader. This is important because, standing somewhere to build something is rather important. I have all these shulker boxes full of dirt here, which will hopefully be enough. And by dirt, I mean it's a lot of grass. Turns out, you're mining the surface, you're going to get a lot of grass. Oh yeah, also, for this stream, I have, once again, decided to go into having a drink or something. So, this is specifically a poppy for cherry limeade. I'll open it in a second here. But if you don't know what poppy is, well, gosh, you've been lucky to not see all their ads. Basically, they're a new soda brand that's marketing themselves as healthy. But all their ads are quite provocative to me and be like, oh, come on. You're acting like you're a real thing. You're not a real thing. Come on, it's all, shows like, oh, in the movie theaters, in a restaurant, oh, I want a soda, but I don't want something unhealthy. It's just like, yeah, but those places also have no outside drinks, and there's no fucking way they sell this shit at the movie theaters or the fucking restaurant, especially in the restaurant. Maybe they sell these at movie theaters now. I don't know. But the reason why I have this specifically is because they now sell them at my school. So shit, I guess they're a little bit more of a legitimate soda brand than I thought. They are certainly, well, usually they are more expensive than a real soda like Coke or Pepsi. Coke and Pepsi are definitely way cheaper, than these silly little cans. Although, to be fair, these aren't more expensive necessarily than actual soda here at my school. Because, more than inflation, they really have, for a long time now, just gone overboard with the cost of bottled and canned soda and whatnot at the schools, selling locations. Like, a bottle of soda is $3. That's your standard-ass this. This is $3 at the school store. At Walmart, a bottle that's bigger than this is or a pack. Is it a single bottle? I think it was a single bottle. Like 1.5 liter bottle. This is 16 ounces, I believe. 20 ounces, sorry. This is 20 ounce. A 1.5 liter bottle at Walmart is like $1.45 or something like that. So, yeah, this stuff is kind of a ripoff. Surprisingly, the highway sells these things for more, which has not been the case for a few years now. But, yeah. Though, with this rant, this was only $2.69, which was the cost of one of those bottles of soda 2 years ago. Anyway, I don't know what the cans of regular sodas they sell here go for, because they don't have prices listed anymore. But those ones are less volume, or more volume than this can, but less volume than the bottle. They're also probably a similar price. But anyhow, here goes my first taste, because this isn't the first time I've had one of these. I have actually tasted some of the poppy things in the past, because my parents have gotten a couple of them. Ooh, let's try see what these things taste like. Some of them have been terrible. Others have been okay, but I don't think I've had this flavor yet, the cherry limeade. So, that's not terrible. Oh, that aftertaste is a little weird. The immediate taste is okay, but the aftertaste kind of, I don't know. Anyhow. Where's my regular dirt? This one. Anyhow, let's get building here. Oh yeah, also in a couple minutes I will probably have an interruption as I gotta go talk to people for like a couple minutes. But yeah, same thing as we did last week, basically. I don't know, the aftertaste of this soda is kind of strange. I think round about here is where I usually like to go up. And one more. There, yes, this is the level I need to be at. Okay. And we build across with grass for reasons, I guess. But yeah, so how do I describe the taste? So it does kind of have that lemony, limey taste of this. That is definitely there. And that smell is kind of wafting at me right now. In a way, it almost tastes like... kind of like maybe what you get in like a popsicle or something that has more of a lemon-lime flavor. But then there's a cherry bit, which I'm pretty sure is... in the immediate taste, it's not that much there. It's more in the aftertaste. Okay, it is a little bit there in the main thing, but yeah, the cherry mostly hits in an aftertaste, which is kind of strange. Overall, so far this one doesn't taste terrible. Unlike their, I guess what it was, the cola flavor or whatever. The first one I tried was one of like what was supposedly like their cola flavor. That one was awful. I remember my mom was saying something along the lines of, oh, well, you know, cola, you know, Coke and Pepsi are, you know, their own settled flavors. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. I'm not expecting it to be a Coke or a Pepsi, but, like, other companies have made cola sodas. RC, for instance. I know Walmart has their own store brand cola that tastes nothing like what the fucking poppy shit. It's like, yeah, you can also make this shit taste pretty good without sugar. As, you know, one of the other ones I've had was actually decent. This one is also okay. You can make, like, the cola stuff taste good. They just didn't. This is not that, though. This is okay. Not at the top of my list. Maybe I should I make, like, a tier list for the poppy flavors? I think they have, like, 5 or 6 of them at the school store. I'll see. I will see. But yeah. So, this week we've gotten the first 2 pre-releases for the next version of Minecraft. That's pretty cool. Minecraft Live is it this weekend or next weekend? Minecraft Live might be next weekend. I'm not entirely sure if they will actually release 21.9 before Minecraft Live. They might, or they might release it like immediately after Minecraft Live. Although all things considered. Well, it depends on how things go up. How things are going with the pre-releases. I can tell you, the bug that I've reported has not been fixed in the pre-releases. So, like, you know, the server management protocol will have a flaw in it that has been reported to them. It has existed since inception. It will have a flaw because I don't think they're going to fix it. At this point, it doesn't look likely that they're going to fix it before the update launches. I mean, it'll probably get fixed at some point when, you know, people actually start using the management system for real and not just to test it, and all of a sudden little shit is broken. Anyhow. But yeah, that's that. We will hopefully be updating Coolcraft to that new version relatively quickly. Not that I'll be doing anything necessarily interesting with it. I kind of actually just want the server management features, honestly. Because that alone seems like a pretty interesting thing. It's not necessarily that it's like groundbreaking. We have mods and stuff that could have done this a while ago. There is the remote console system that Minecraft has. It's had that for a really long time. I absolutely think that Archon can do most of these things. There are a couple interesting and unique features of the management system, like being able to set the permission level of operators as well as set whether they're allowed to join the server when it's full. That is a management server only feature, at least management server only when the server's running. You could always edit the, for instance, operators.json file to change this stuff, but then you'd have to restart the server. Obviously, mods have been able to do all this sort of thing for, like, you know, eons now. But a vanilla way to do this, that will theoretically not change too drastically version to versions, is, you know, good. Like, all this stuff will just kind of be there. I'm going to put a lot of this dirt back for now. I do not need nearly that much in my inventory. But yeah, so that's some exciting stuff. What? Okay. Whew. So what else? What else is there for me to talk about right now? Yeah. So obviously, yeah, I got all these trenches dug here. That's cool. You know, I'm actually gonna get a video out this week. I think that I need more grass. I think that what I'm currently going to do is, after I get this episode of Coolcraft out, I might switch. First of all, I might switch my video release schedule to being a little bit longer during the school year. Mostly out of laziness. Not that I couldn't at the moment do or keep up with it. It's just that I don't feel like it, right? I got other things I could be doing, so I probably will be. I mean, it's basically just going to be getting videos out whenever I feel like it, or whenever I can. But after this video, so like next week, I think I'm going to go take some time to work on my game again. Probably going to get a second channel video out of that, so it's not going to be a complete loss. Because I actually did start working on something, obviously, a couple weeks ago. Did that live stream where I was doing stuff with the game. Oh, okay, and I have to... Okay, it's becoming night time, and I have to go for a brief moment, so I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm back at long last. I have returned. That was admittedly a little bit longer than I expected it to be. Anyhow, with that being done, hopefully there will be no more interruptions in the stream for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I just don't know how long this is going to get going for. Random notification from Twitch. That's completely useless to me. Oh, you're looking for something to watch, are you? No, I'm not. Twitch, if I want something from you, Twitch, I will go to Twitch. Otherwise, I will not be on Twitch. I do not go to Twitch to discover content to watch. I go to Twitch because something I want to watch is currently happening there. That is how you work, Twitch. You understand? And that is why I do not stream on Twitch, because I don't have an audience to follow me over there. Or that would follow me over to there. The audience, well, they're already on YouTube. And also, they don't really exist too much. I mean, there's 2 viewers to the stream right now. Hello if you're watching. Thank you for watching. Am I on your TV? Because apparently, close to a majority of my views come from people on a TV. I suppose you can't really say anything in chat if you're on a TV. So, don't say anything in chat if you're on a TV. Or if I'm on your TV. Anyhow. Yeah, I guess I could something I guess I could... Is there a network drop? I'm not seeing any issues. Okay, no. My monitoring was just buffering, I guess. Alright. But anyhow, I guess something I could talk about is the view apocalypse that has supposedly been crashing into YouTube recently. So basically, a bunch of YouTubers noticed that after August 13th, all their views seemed to fall off a cliff. Interesting. Very interesting. But it's like, okay, well, these things happen. But usually it's just like, oh, you're a shitty, terrible YouTuber. Get better at being a YouTuber. Obviously, the algorithm just changed or whatever. But no, that wasn't the extent of things. Despite the fact that the amount of people actually supposedly watching the content dropped, the number of people liking, commenting, subscribing, and apparently watching ads stayed the same. Like, revenue didn't change. The number of likes on average a video didn't change, but the likes per viewer did change. It went up, way up. So that was a little bit strange. What the hell is going on? Everyone started thinking. Some people were like, it's the end of times, restricted mode. Other people saying, relax, it's just a seasonal drop in viewership. Guys, relax. And then others were actually coming up with real potential issues. Maybe it's the crackdown on age stuff that happened at roughly the same time this all started. Those are, they happened at the same time, which is usually quite a strong pull that they might be related. But in this case, I actually don't think they were related. Apparently, according to YouTube, what appears to have happened is right around the time YouTube was implementing age verification things in some regions, which was partially, it was covering their ass, really, is what it all is about. What happened is apparently a bunch of popular ad blockers implemented some new privacy tools that blocked YouTube's view counts, which apparently aren't just you're on the video and have watched this much of it. There's a separate thing that can be blocked that increments that view counter. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. Or how stupid YouTube sounds for counting views like that. But yeah, what people had started noticing was happening was that along with this change in supposed views, the supposed number of views they were getting, device breakdown had also shifted. The share of desktop users had also shrunk pretty large. Now, for some reason, I didn't see anyone comparing no one did the extrapolation to see, okay, what are the approximate numbers do these percentages correlate to? Because obviously the way that it typically works, or the way that YouTube gives you this stuff, is it's just like, okay, this percentage of your views were from this device type, basically. And for whatever reason, no one was like, okay, well, actually, I don't know if they have this data over time, but considering they were saying the amount of computer views dropped, I would imagine that they had some sort of overtime access. So why didn't they just take the views of the videos from before all this stuff started happening, calculate the approximate number of views that each device type had, then recalculate that for after the viewership number drops, and then see if, like, it was just the desktops, like the number of mobile TV or game console, I guess, platforms just basically stayed the same and computer's the only thing that dropped. Because if computer was the only thing that dropped, I don't think it was, but if it was, that would be like, okay, something's going on computer, obviously. But anyhow, yeah, apparently what the actual issue was, or officially the story is, that it's basically ad blockers actually fucked something up in the statistics reporting on YouTube. And so people with an ad blocker installed that YouTube hasn't shadow banned for some reason, were effectively shadow banning their views. So, and it makes sense. Ad blockers. So people with ad blockers typically don't watch ads, therefore they don't contribute to revenue, and therefore the loss of their views wouldn't impact the amount of money that a creator receives from YouTube specifically. Now, the problem is, supposedly, I've been told, the problem is sponsors will often use the number of views your video gets as the metric for determining how much you get paid. Instead of like, oh, here's like $200 is low, but it's a good number for this. Here's $200 for one single ad placement in a video of yours. Apparently a lot of creators is based on view performance. Which, like, okay, sure. It sucks for them, but, like, maybe they should try to convince the advertisers to just give them a bunch of money. Because, honestly, the number of views and impressions isn't the thing that most advertisers should be looking at, really. Conversion rate is probably way more important than the number of people who are laying eyes on it. Well, it depends on the advertising. If it's just something along the lines of, for instance, I know, like, with LTT, I know that, like, I think Seasonic often just sponsors a video of theirs around the holidays just to say, hey, happy holidays from Seasonic. They're not actually selling anything there. So there's no they're not advertising a product or anything. So there's not much of a conversion rate there. So something like that I could see getting paid off views. It's more of like a, hey, this thing exists. Be influenced by it. I guess if an event wants to advertise, and it's not like a event where you have to necessarily buy tickets, it's like anyone's welcome to, like, come spend money at the food vendors or whatever. That's how we make our money. Then I could also see something like that. But in general, I don't think that sponsors should be using just regular view numbers for how much they give a creator, because very easy to inflate your view numbers. Like, just falsely inflate, especially when money's involved. Oh, inflating your view numbers is fucking easy, guys. Because, if it's like, wait, I could just buy some views, because that's a service. Those services are against YouTube's terms of service. That doesn't stop them from existing or people from using them. We know that. If I can buy views for less than what the sponsor is going to give me for said views, then infinite money glitch. Now, obviously, the sponsor has, like, an upper limit. They won't give you more than a certain amount of money. But, like, obviously, they're going to have metrics like conversion rate, but still. these are interesting things you got to think about. All right, that is the first platform done. We have 4 total platforms to do. This is obviously number 1. The next one goes just above us, right there for the the second part of this. I usually say that the world leader is built in 4 parts. You have the lower parts and the upper parts. The lower parts are the sweeper, the fluid sweeping assemblies. The upper parts are the actual TNT duper assemblies. Now the thing about and each side is also different, because this side contains the push down and return stations, as well as the actual flying machines themselves, versus the other side just contains the push down and return systems, which is the green screen's kind of bothering me right now. It's this bit. Like, shine yourself up there a little bit more, will you? Did that fix it? No. Fuck you. Alright. Okay, I thought it was about to fall off there. Now, I usually like to, go like right here. Now, how close to this do I want to get? I think like this is a good location here. So, that's been happening the last couple weeks. What else is going on? Oh yeah, another thing with the YouTube Viewpocalypse situation. For some reason, like over the past week, the Spiffing Brit released a video about this whole Viewpocalypse situation, which was completely unnecessary. He didn't really add anything of substance. In fact, he just kind of was wrong about a lot of stuff. His overall thing was, oh guys, it's just a seasonal dip in viewership. You'll be fine. Relax! Which was kind of tone deaf. I'm pretty sure he just made that video to bandwagon on the whole, oh, the YouTube views are dropping thing. But yeah, it was a little strange. And he didn't even reference some of the most, some important information that had come out, like the first video that I know of that was actually on this subject, which kind of brought up one of like the key things about why this wasn't just like the algorithm changing, which is, I believe, Brody Robinson's video on like, hey, what's going on with my stats or whatever. The thing is, back around the time that video released, I actually watched it and was like, huh, interesting. Anyway, and just kind of forgot about it for a while, and then I think a couple weeks later or whatever, when LTT was talking about this on Wancho, at first I was like, huh, oh right, this is that bot detection thing that I heard another YouTuber talking about over. Because initially the theory was, oh, maybe they're just doing some advanced view bot detection stuff. And, botted views aren't really being counted anymore, which is, fair enough when your revenues aren't dropping or whatever. Fake views being deleted from new videos is, something that's, reasonable to assume. But yeah, people apparently just didn't know about this video's existing, and then when it was brought up and we started looking at it, they were like, hang on, yeah, no, that's what's going on. Doing the analysis, doing the statistics. Wait, why was I talking about this? Oh yeah. So why am I talking about all this? This doesn't affect me in the slightest. In fact, I've kind of had the opposite happening to me. So over this kind of period of time when the Viewpocalypse started happening, my views actually started getting better. More people are watching my crap. Like the live stream a couple weeks ago where I started this project and was going to start building the trenches. And then it was like a 30-minute live stream because Wancho started relatively early. Not as early as it did this week, though. That was kind of weird. But it still started early. That week, that live stream has over 500 views, and I don't understand why. But yeah, a few of the videos I released in like August have ridiculous view counts to them. For me at least. It's like, wow, I'm really starting to pop off here. But you know, that's nice. I like that. But that's not all. But yeah, so yeah, over that time, my views were doing great. People are freaking loving my content, apparently. I reached 100 subscribers. Didn't think that would happen at the beginning of this year. How many subs was I at the beginning of this year? I actually do not remember. And I don't really have a good way to find that out, actually. Do I? No, I don't think I did. But yeah, so yeah, that's stuff that happened. Let's see. Let's see. Other things I should talk about while I'm doing this menial labor here. One of the other most popular live streams that I've ever done is a random live stream from Coolcraft Season 6. So I guess just last season. It was one of the random live streams of me just building roads in the downtown section. And for whatever reason, it has like 400 views or something like that, which is very strange. I don't understand it. So strange, so strange. Anyhow. Let's see. Come on. Okay, this is going to be a little bit annoying. Ideally, I'd turn off the schematic, but I don't think that's necessarily a good idea right now. And I've kind of just... I can't think of too much else to talk about. I've been a bit out of it this week. Yeah, I've done stuff for the video that's coming out this weekend, but like, oh man, I've been tired. Kind of going through the motions, doing schoolwork. Just thought of something I have to do for schoolwork. That's fun. Let's see. But yeah, my brain is farting hard here. Yeah, I've got no fucking clue what I'm... yeah, I got no fucking clue. What? Oh, look. Pillager raid down there. Well. I'm starting to wonder if I brought enough dirt and grass with me to do this whole thing. I definitely will turn the whole schematic off once I get these, you know, alternated lines here done when I want to do the rest of it. Because at that point, schematic's just kind of annoying. Not the fricker. Schematic's just kind of annoying there. And not really doing any good. So, yep. What the fuck are those guys doing? Where's their AI going? They split up. I'm not sure what's going on with those pillagers down there. let's see. Let's see. I feel like I've kind of just gone back to how I used to be in life. She's like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. Stuff is happening. Okay. There's a minor annoyance that I could talk about is my video editor. As I've been editing the current video, I suddenly noticed that the clips looked extremely blurry. And, started getting a bit concerned, like, oh, for some reason OBS decided to record this at the wrong resolution or encode it strangely where it's incredibly blurry. But then I looked at the clips, the raw clips in like Windows Media Player or whatever, and it's like, nope, these are fine. And now I'm confused, wait, what? Why are these rendering at such a, they're like, rendering at a ridiculously small resolution, then being upscaled to a much larger resolution? What? So confusing, so confusing. Huh. Another thing I can talk about is how it's starting to not be summer anymore. I know that sounds weird, because, you know, fall starts on like Monday. But, that being said, it's really, in this past week, suddenly started feeling like it's fall. Like, I swear, on Wednesday, it was suddenly like, hang on, things are different. The trees are suddenly a little bit red, which is weird, because like on Monday, they were, you know, still green, fine. Maybe they had a couple leaves that were falling, but whatever. And then all of a sudden, come Wednesday, one of the trees that's like close to the building is suddenly like, oh yeah, it's like half red now, and a bunch of its leaves are on the ground. Like, what? Additionally, sun's all of a sudden setting much quicker. Like, you know, it's dark now. It's almost 8 o'clock. Which has been basically normal, but it was basically dark when it was starting to get dark when I started the stream. That is new. And like I have a class that goes that like starts around 4 o'clock. And in the way that the room is situated, the windows are kind of facing south? Yeah, they're like facing south. So, you know, that means the sun will stream in those windows. And since the start of the semester, it's I'm kind of like sitting near the windows as well. It's kind of been a bit of a thing where it's like, yes, the sun just like streaming in, just like shining right on me. Mind you, like the classroom is, you know, a decent size to where like only the row that I'm in is actually getting hit by the sun. But, you know, the whole class, most of the class is fine. Meanwhile, I'm basically sitting there and I'm baking in the sun like, this is hot. I'm kind of hot, baking, boiling even here. And then all of a sudden this week, Wednesday comes about, and all of a sudden the sun's not like there anymore. It's not, it's a bit, you know, I guess lower in the sky, not as intense anymore. So like, that's a rather sudden change. Like, I know gradually, it's going to gradually change. And maybe I noticed an issue like Wednesday to Monday or something like that. Because, you know, that's like few days, there's, you know, 5 days or something in between class there. But Monday to Wednesday, there's only 1 day gap. And it's like, do you like suddenly things are gonna get way worse? Now, I think looking at the forecast, next week it's gonna spike to almost 90 degrees out. So like, summer's got one last hurrah in it, or at least they're predicting summer has one last hurrah in it. But you know, tonight we're getting down to damn near freezing out there. So I guess the first frost is coming. kill off those mosquitoes. Another thing is actually climate change. It's been relatively dry so far this fall, which is not normal. Usually it's like every other day it's raining. No, in the past years that's kind of been a problem because I've been like, oh, I'm gonna go for doing exercise twice a day every day, and then it rains and I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't? No, I don't want to get wet and cold. And then I just kind of stop doing. But this year I haven't had that excuse. I've just not done it. I should though. I really should. I've realized I am out of shape. Especially like looking like at pictures of me and my brother's like, damn, I kind of look like I'm a bit fat. Yeah, perhaps I should put more effort into... Ooh, that's 2 shulker boxes already. I'll definitely have to go back to my base to get more resources. Anyhow, but yeah, it's like, all that fat. I'd probably lose. If I actually seriously just put my mind to it and started doing a bunch of exercise, actually pushing myself to burn calories and stuff, and maybe started eating a little bit less, healthier diet, I could probably actually lose a fair amount of weight. Could. Don't want to, but could. The things that I probably should do, but don't. It's mostly just that, but you know. It's far more fun to sit in front of my computer and play Minecraft all day. Even though I can't do that. I've got work to do for various classes. Like, learning about how computer networking works on a very in-depth and fundamental level, might I add. It's not just like, oh, you send this to this and then magic. No, it's like, oh, here's the like the theoretical way things work at every level of network communication. Dang. We got packet sniffing and stuff. Also learned that apparently in order to, like, cause, you know, for, I guess, for the program Wireshark, which is, you know, the go-to packet sniffer, basically. You can, obviously you need, like, admin privileges to install it on Windows, but that's whatever. On Linux, likewise, you need, like, root privileges to install it, but then you also need, like, root privileges or to be in a group in order to use it, which is not the case on Windows. On Windows, once it's installed, you can just... Oh, here, let me turn the schematic off. But yeah, on Windows, once Wireshark's installed, you can just use it, capture any interfaces traffic you want. I must say, and also, like, but the professor's having, I swear, the textbook this professor's having us do, like, assignments out of is, like, 30 years old. It's got pictures of a Windows 95 command prompt in it. It's horrendously outdated. So when it's like, oh, do this and get the packet capture with it, and, oh, but here's, like, the minimal filters you'll need. Like, obviously, it's not built for modern day, where everything's online, everything's a service, everything's telemetrying back to some remote server telling them how hard you're breathing every 10 seconds. So, like, whereas back in the day, it would have been like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the only network request that you're sending. Now it's like, well, that's probably one of, like, 700 different network requests that your computer sent out in the time period that you told it to look at those captures. No big deal. Doesn't help the matter that that Minecraft's usually open in the background and I'm just like AFK on the server, because that's, you know, continuous traffic back and forth between my computer and the server. Of course, there's all Windows spyware that's doing. I know we had to do stuff with DNS recently, and at least it was easy enough to filter for DNS requests. But like I remember at one point I did stuff, and Microsoft just decided to, or something on my computer decided to do something with Xbox, and so I was trying to capture the DNS, the requested DNS or the required DNS lookup or whatever, and like at the same time that I did it, something tried to communicate with an Xbox server, as there was DNS requests for like Xbox name servers, and when I'm like, okay, that's probably not supposed to be in there. Oh, another side effect of this textbook being like 30 years old is that there are things that it requests us to do that you can't do anymore because that's not how the internet works anymore. Like asking any random name server for another for the location of another website or something like that. Like, I think one of the things I had to do was like find the name servers for some European, for any European college or college university, which that's already like okay. Then it's like, okay, once you have that, you try to use that name server to look up Yahoo's mail servers. And it was like, okay, that's a little strange. They might have those. But the thing is, that's not how DNS works anymore. Maybe back in the 90s you could do such a thing. But in modern day, those name servers will just refuse that request because it's completely irrelevant to them. So that's, you know, a thing. It's like, oh, things change over time and how, like, stuff actually works. But what is more important, I suppose, is that what is more important? Oh yeah, the more important thing is it's also just there was also at one point when it just wanted us to try to or to send requests to a DNS server that doesn't exist anymore. It was like some domain. It was probably a college's DNS server. I don't even remember anymore. But it was like, hey, go to this DNS server and ask them for this link, which was something, or this you know, URL or this domain, which I can't remember, but may have actually been something that was likely to be responded to positively, except the fact that the server that it wanted us to use did not exist anymore. Because, well, that thing. Because, well, who would have guessed? It's been 30 years. Organizations change the way their infrastructure is set up. They'll change the the address of their DNS server for any reason, really. It's not too surprising, but it's been like, hey, send out the request. Please indicate these things about your request. Then please indicate things about the response. Like, well, there was no response because the server probably doesn't exist anymore. It's been like, what, 30 years since this textbook came out? I mean, I know the fundamentals of computer networking haven't changed, but something more modern would be infinitely probably better. The days of ChatGPT, do we really need outdated textbooks? Yes, but like, well, yes, we do need them, but like, probably could at least update the textbooks a little bit. I mean, sure, an old textbook is probably much cheaper, which is good. I don't care too much about how... Well, an old textbook's also probably a lot more findable on the text... On, you know... Your textbooks are overpriced. I'm just saying, they are very overpriced. For something, like, here's the thing. The only reason textbooks still exist is because schools require them. If schools didn't require them, and teachers and professors no longer taught to the textbook, or even reference the textbook, then what do you know? Textbooks are going to cease existing overnight, as the internet and ChatGPT and such, and like and LLMs more generally, are way better at giving people accurate information they can understand than a frickin' textbook is. Well, actually, not necessarily more accurate, but more information that they can understand on any given topic. And AI can delve pretty deep into topics. That is undoubtedly true. Because, you know, textbooks can also be a bit difficult to understand at times because there's a lot of, you're writing something that's got to just be on paper, right? It can't be personalized. It's more of a formal and less understandable tone versus almost certainly an AI could make something easier to understand. You can also just ask it things if you're not understanding well enough. It can lie to you, sure, but a textbook can also lie to you. So, like... In fact, the way America's textbook system works, more generally, is kind of fucked up. So basically what happens is the textbook companies will cater to the state that has the most students, which is California. But there's a problem. California has some weird arbitrary laws that make it very hard for them to have any sort of leverage in the textbooks they purchase. So we move down the chain to Texas, who has the second most students in the country. And oh boy, Texas is kind of bad in terms of education and have some weird crackpot shit that they want to have all their students learning. And so because of that, Textbox can editorialize the... Textbox. What? Texas can editorialize what basically the entire nation learns. If they're learning out of a textbook. Textbook. Now, I do think that is dumb, and we shouldn't be just, ooh, here's a textbook. We're going to just learn what's in the textbook. But I do understand that's kind of how education works in this country for some reason. And that is also why that's also probably why our education in this country is so bad. Because we just blindly teach whatever's in the textbook instead of, actually doing proper things to, like, help people learn the actual content of the book. Or the general content of the book instead of like, oh, specifically what the textbook says. To be fair, I don't think New York is necessarily the most affected by this, as New York has its own education standards. And its own, like, you must teach this, and it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of just do their own textbook things. Or if it's not in the textbook, it's in, like, something else. But, teaching to the book is kind of a thing New York kind of has some experience with because Common Core came in and was like, hey, we're just going to be way harder for no reason. And also, it's teaching to this textbook, ignoring actual, like, proven to work teaching methods. Now, by the time I got to, school, Common Core was already well in place and a thing that we had to deal. And so I never had to deal with non-Common Core. But I have cousins that were, like, went to school during the transition, and they were like, yeah, it was just suddenly way harder for no reason. That is, I guess, half done. Interesting how swamps have two different dirt textures that I never noticed before. Anyhow, grass colors, not textures. I mean, technically color has something to do with texture, but that's not what we're talking about here. God, the screen looks bad right now. I don't understand it. Actually do not understand it. Alright, other side. Maybe if I adjust this light. No. Yeah, that is actually a little bit better. Interesting. Anyhow, guess I didn't completely remove the flying machine platforms here. Anyhow. So build out. Yeah, this doesn't need to be particularly thick here. So that's where that's generally gonna end. But this here needs to be a little bit larger because of the connecting mechanism between the upstairs and down here. Alright. This is stupid, like, there's stupid width here, but I'm not willing to go extra, so fuck it, I guess. This is how big we're going. Oh, yeah, something else I gotta do to prep, I guess, prep the World Eaters. I gotta make sure there's no obsidian or waterlogged blocks within the general volume here. Now, I don't think there'd be waterlogged blocks because outside of an ocean ruin, I don't think any structures generate with waterlogged blocks in just like a swamp. But obsidian there might be. And that is the bigger problem. Now, we can obviously remove that later, as the obsidian is not likely to be a thing until you get like right down to the bottom of the world. And it is also potentially the case that water spilling into a cave that gets opened up can also make more obsidian. It happens. I've had to remove water from World Eaters many times in the past. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be concerned that it might be an issue. Because it might. We don't know this. Ah, frick. We'll say, I think this is probably the hardest, not necessarily the hardest, but one of the most annoying parts of this to build. Theoretically, it should be the quickest, as it has the least blocks of all sections, just in general, because it's very thin. It's basically just the push-down station for the sweepers. That's it. The other side of this contains the sweepers itself. This is just the stop them and then push them down, which is not very complex, to be fair. It's mostly just a chain of slime blocks that goes down the line. But it is still a little bit complex. Or a little bit annoying because of like how it's structured. Like there's this thicker bit up here, and then there's just these thin little rods that go down. I will say though, this thing, I have built this exact design since Season 3. So that's a long time now that I've been using this exact design. Maybe there's better World Eaters now, but I feel like World Eater technology hasn't really progressed too far past this design, which was actually a bit of an innovation on the previous design, which basically, the innovation is it's shorter. Because the previous design was very tall, as basically they just had to drop the TNT. Oh, come on. Basically, they just dropped the TNT directly out of the flying machine, and then it would blow up, and then it would fall, and then it would stop falling when it blew up. The way this machine specifically works is there's a separate little flying machine that follows the actual TNT tubers very closely, that holds the TNT for a moment before the TNT will eventually drop, allowing the top of here, or the top of the flying machines here, to be way closer to the water pushers, which is way better for the general size of this thing. Far more compact, slight bit more complexity. Yeah. So it's more compact, it's slightly more complex, but it is overall, I think, better. It means I don't have to deal with as much vertical space for here. Ah, this is the end. Oh yeah. This technically has a problem here. Because the World Eater technically extends to here, but the water sweeper only extends to around here, and the TNT is not necessarily guaranteed to blast all the way to the edge. Thankfully, because we did a trench, or because we did a full trench with the TNT flying machine here, it should be fine. And also we've had to, you know, go back a couple blocks because of that with the water, but it is a potential concern to be concerned about, because there is the potential for that to cause issues for us in the future. Hopefully it doesn't, though. I know the second time I did a World Eater, which was in Season 3, I did 2 in Season 3. Woo. The second one in Season 3 took me like 2 months. And I didn't make a single goddamn video in that time, because I was slowly working on the World Eater. What made it really hard was that I was doing it in an ocean, because I wanted to make the most efficient Guardian farm ever. If I do a Guardian farm this season, I might want to try to find it. I'm just going to go back to what I did more generally. Specifically, though, the design from Season 3 was very effective. Well, it was basically the simplest thing. It's just like spawning spaces, and then the Guardians like fall out of the water and just fall onto a platform of hoppers and die. That's what it is. It was efficient. But yeah, last season I actually built that farm design again because I happened to be in a situation where the ocean monument I had selected was pretty close to the ground, actually. It was like it was not too deep into the water, so I was able to just do that again, and it was good. Not usually the case. Like, in Season 3, I built that design because I could, mostly. It was like, ooh, I want something efficient. I don't entirely know why I wanted something efficient. I just did. Ever since then, I've just done, like, the classic, okay, fill the whole thing in with sand with a machine overnight, and then remove the sand, and remove the monument. It's that simple. Oh, obviously it's a bit more complex. And like you also gotta like drain the inside of the monument. That's a bit of a challenge. I don't entirely remember how we do that. I know you drain the outside first, then go through the inside with a sponge, I think. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Yeah, Season 3 where we just like, to hell with all that. We're just gonna remove everything. The whole ocean. To be fair, the rates could not have been better than what I had in Season 3, because in Season 3, you know, it was a perimeter, so there's nowhere else for mobs to spawn in that area besides in the ocean monument. I don't know if I'll ever do that again, because that was such a flawed perimeter. It took me forever to set it up. Part of that was procrastination, but also part of that was, it was just hard. The trenches were a pain in the ass to do. Because we were in the ocean, I started by surrounding the entire perimeter in an anvil wall. The reason for that is because anvils are a falling block that cannot be exploded. Potentially the cheapest unexplodable block that you can have in the game. So I built a wall of anvils around the edge. That way, you know, explosions or whatever from the trench diggers or whatever wouldn't cause us issues with collapsing the walls and letting infinite amounts of water in. Because also anvils can't be waterlogged for some reason. But that, so for the small trenches, I literally just dug them out by hand. That's what I did back in Season 3, actually. For both the perimeters, I just dug out the wall, I dug out the small trenches by hand. It was just a 1 or 2 block wide gap, manually dug through the earth down to bedrock. Or through the world down to bedrock. Which is a valid strategy. It takes a bit longer than the flying machines, but it is, in the ocean, way easier. For the end trenches, though, I still did, you know, blow those up. But the problem was the water. So I put in a ton of, I had to, you know, fill the, like a chunk of, a strip of the ocean, basically this wide, in with sand. And then blow that sand up where I would continuously spring a leak on the one side that could have a leak. Because remember, one side was anvil, so I didn't have to worry about that side. The other side, obviously we wanted to be able to, you know, World Eater down through the other side. So that side was just sand. It took forever for me to fill the whole area in sand, and then the trench digging process was annoying because I had to keep repairing that sand wall. Once the trenches were dug, though, the actual process of building the World Eater was pretty smooth, although I did fail it a couple of times because of waterlogged blocks and some other issues, and this was back when I would just run them overnight and not think about it the next day. Strange times this work. Okay, I have to quickly head to the bathroom, so I will quickly go AFK here, be right back. Shouldn't be more than 2 minutes, and yeah. I will be right back. Never mind, the bathroom is full, so I will continue to hold it as I continue working. Yeah, back to it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I do remember back in Season 3 the World Eater failed a number of times, for the Ocean Monument in particular. Trying to remember exactly why it failed. Like, I know once it failed because there were some waterlogged blocks in like an ocean ruin or something like that. That makes sense. Those can't be blown up. And also the sweepers can't get rid of them, so those things are kind of like, you're fucked if you run into them. So I had to get rid of them. I think because I was also running this overnight, there was definitely like random blocks of obsidian that would form during the process of the whole thing being created that I, couldn't find or whatever. And that would cause the whole thing to fail. I know once or twice, one of the side trenches, because I dug them by hand, they were rather thin. One of the side trenches, I think it would have been that side equivalent over here. One of the side trenches didn't actually get blown up properly, so there was a block that one of the sweepers got stuck on, and then that cascaded to the sweepers got stuck, which means they couldn't remove some water or lava, which means it didn't get blown up, and then that can kind of cascade to other things, and then the machine blows itself up. Eventually you get stuck and bleh. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, multiple times the flying machine got all the way down to like Y11, where the lava lakes used to start. I think it was 10. Yeah, 10 would make more sense. All the way down to Y=10 where the lava lakes would start, and then there would be one obsidian block that screws everything up. I remember that happening pretty well. And I remember I was using replay mod obviously at this point. So I'd be looking through the replay, trying to find exactly where or what caused the whole thing to blow itself up. And then I'd load it back up and doing it. And I ended up running this World Eater so many times that I gave up doing it overnight and just kind of ran it during the day while I did something else. In fact, wait. Was this when I was that when I was playing Paper Mario Origami King? I don't remember. That might have been the next year that I ended up doing that. But it feels like about the right time. That may have been actually when I did that. I may have actually played Origami. So yeah, that may have been that week, or maybe it was the next week or something like that that I was playing that. But yeah, I do remember doing other stuff while the World Eater was kind of running in the background. I'd check on it occasionally, make sure, hey, is everything still like not broken here? Yeah, okay, good. And then it would break at some point, and I'd be like, okay, find why it broke, rebuild it, or reload the backup, fix why it broke, and then run it again. And I think I did that like 3 times in a day. Go back and watch that Season 3 episode when I did that. I don't know what the episode would be called. It's on this channel somewhere, though. Season 3 playlist. I'd say that's a good place to start. But yeah, that's kind of why I've never built an Ocean Monument perimeter again. Who knew? Let's see. What else is there? Last season's perimeter was... I did it way earlier in the season. I think next season I might want to go do perimeter stuff early again. I know Season 4 is definitely the earliest I've ever done it. Because my whole that was the whole point of my base, was that it was in a perimeter. Right? So, building the Season 4 flying machine, Season 4 stuff, was generally a good thing. I remember I tried to do a live stream where I was making the trenches. But if I remember correctly, for whatever reason, I got disconnected partway through. Didn't notice. And then it just kind of kept going for a while, and then I eventually noticed I was like, well, crap. I guess I'm just gonna kind of give up on that there. And that was one of the few live streams I ever did in Season 4. To be fair, it was not until last season, I guess, Season 6. Considering how long ago that was, it feels weird to say that. But yeah, it wasn't until Season 6 that I really started properly doing continuous live streams. I don't even think I did a single... Did I ever do a live stream in Season 5? I don't remember. I may have. It may have been like early on or something. But I know with Season 5 I generally didn't do... I mean, I didn't live stream from school at all during Season 5 because of the roommate situation. Because, of course, as a freshman, you have to share a room with somebody. Which is not a good situation for live streaming. I'll tell you that. Especially when you're basically sitting in front of the goddamn door. Recording, as is, was a challenge. And then, so Season 6, when I had some privacy, I started doing live streams, and I've kind of tried to keep up that weekly live stream thing basically since. Although, admittedly, it did take me till October, I believe, to actually start doing the live streams. I'd like, oh, hey, I'm out of grass. I did plan, before the school year started, to do live streams. I just kind of was lazy and didn't do it until mid-October, I believe. Yeah, actually no, not mid-October, early October. When I was like, finally, like, oh yeah, let's actually go live and do some stuff. You know, it was on Coolcraft. It was Season 6, so we was building roads. As we do, because, that's what we did in Season 6. And I remember, one of those first few live streams I did, I started off for a while by just, like, talking about the Minecraft Live stuff. But what was that? Which update was that, or was it? It must have been Tricky Trials that was announced. And obviously, they didn't announce the name. But no, that was the one where they announced the crafter, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's what that one was. I was like, whoa! But yeah, and I remember, that stream that I was doing stuff, I think I was actually going to be playing a different game after that. That was an interesting time. That was one of the earlier streams for me, though. And then... Yeah, I mean, it depended. I would often just do stuff, but I was like kind of what I was intending to do was, 2 live streams a week, basically, where I was like, on the Friday stream, I would do Minecraft stuff, grindy, whatever, do it until, like, the WAN show starts. And on the Sunday stream, I would do something else, a different game, coding stream, whatever. And that's how it actually worked for a while. And then last year, I just didn't do it like that. Last year, Satisfactory 1.0 came out, and that's what I decided to live stream. Basically, that was all I live streamed last year. Not entirely. I did a little bit of Coolcraft stuff. And some other stuff here and there. Especially once I actually beat the game finally. I was like, okay, cool. I can actually move on to other stuff. But yeah, that was basically all I did. It was just like, alright, let's live stream this. Doing stuff here and there. Slowly beating the game. And I did finally beat it. I haven't at all touched 1 or 1.1 for Satisfactory. Because that came out a little while after I beat the game, and I'm like, I don't want to do another playthrough. And I don't really want to change things with the current playthrough the factories that we had. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. Did a bunch of stuff at Satisfactory. Definitely enjoyed the game. I also spent like the entirety of winter break last year. Well, I didn't really spend the entirety doing it, but I was working on the power plant. Also, I was... Yeah, no, I was kind of just working on the that nuclear power plant for a lot of it. That was off stream and stuff. Gosh, nuclear power plants in Satisfactory are painfully hard and big. Of course, I wanted my thing to be like fully self-sufficient, no waste, maximum energy extraction, which probably cost us more. And it was like, because it was just going to run 20%. But the thing is, I never got that thing to run continuously, I don't think. I don't think we ever had the peak output of that thing for more than like 10 seconds. There were a lot of reasons as to why this happened. At first, a lot of them had to do with the train delivery system, but I think in the end, most of that had been worked out. Most of it. And I want to say the issue at the very end of the stuff, when I was just like, good enough, was that fluids. It was just fluid issues, and you understand, because they're fluids. They're a bit quirky, to say the least. And so because of the quirkiness of how fluids worked in the game, it wasn't consistent in how much it was delivering. Theoretically, to make fluids consistent, what you really should do is you need buffers. Buffers for the fluid everywhere. Because I learned this later how fluid works. Fluid's not like a continuous thing. But it's weird. It is a continuous thing, as it's like represented by floating point numbers instead of discrete values. But it's also not a continuous thing. Like, when a machine consumes fluids, it gulps the entire amount that it's going to use at once. It doesn't, like, use 10 fluid over the course of 30 seconds while it's doing stuff. It'll take all 10 at once instantly when it starts. And then also when a machine emits fluid, it doesn't emit 10 fluid over the course of the 30 seconds that it's processing. It'll dump 10 fluid out of it immediately once it finishes. Which can cause flow rate issues for your pipes, because theoretically your pipes will handle transporting 300 fluid per second. But when you actually have a spiky delivery, like you're gulping it down suddenly, you effectively need an instantaneous flow rate of more than 300. But then you also need an instantaneous flow rate of less than 300. It's confusing. But then most of the time you're not actually transporting much at all. You think it'd work itself out, but when you're on the like limits of flow rate, it doesn't really. So the solution is basically just you need a buffer at the end if you're like using a pipe system to its maximum, or at maximum efficiency. You need a fluid buffer of some kind at the entrance and exit to all machines that produce/emit fluids. These will act like capacitors, and then I highly recommend that you, before you actually activate the whole production system, make sure that the buffers at both ends are at least half full of the fluid. That way they act like capacitors throughout the system. Theoretically, over time, their fill level won't change as long as production remains consistent. But during use, the amount of that they have in them can, increase and decrease by a bit, to allow for, consistent delivery. Basically, they're just capacitors. Whoa, who would have guessed? Except, they actually have to be right next to the component that they're supporting instead of, anywhere in the circuit, basically. Those are things to keep in mind for the next time I play Satisfactory. Who knows when that will be, though? Oh yeah, the other thing. Another game. Scrap Mechanic. It's been like 4-5 years. I don't know. It's been a long time since they've produced a major content update. Now, obviously, last year, in late November, early December, they suddenly put out an update with new physics and wedge pieces, which is pretty nice. Although the physics does get a bunch of stuff wrong, it's a very shortcut and hacky physics system. But let's see, the last major content drop was during the pandemic. It was May of 2020. Yeah, that was... Yeah, like 5 years ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And they haven't done too much of the game. And the thing is, I've seen a lot of people asking recently, oh, is this game dead? Is it a dead game? It's like, no. We got an update like a year, less than a year ago, which is something, considering they don't usually update the game much. And if you look at, like, the Steam version control systems, they have private development branches that have changes happening all the time. They're doing fine, right? The game is still in development. If anything, I think it's actually good. I think they're actually doing a good job at developing the game, and they're actually doing, you know, good by their employees. Unlike, I mean, not that they haven't pushed out buggy crap before, survival mode. We all know survival mode's incredibly buggy and stuff. The game is incredibly buggy. But considering the next update they want, the next major update is going to be the full release of the game, out of early access. And so it looks like they're actually trying to polish the game. That's a good thing. Game company actually trying to make sure their product is good for the full release. Whoa! What? How is this happening in 2025 where a full release is a buggy piece of crap that you never fix? And you charge $60 for it. They're doing it right. They are, you know, actually doing it. And another thing they're doing right is they're not like, we're going to release this tomorrow, and it's like, okay, all the developers will have to work, or we're going to release this in 2 months, and now all the developers have to work round the clock to make sure everything's ready. They haven't given us a concrete release date, which, you know, probably good. They said 2024, 2025. It's probably going to be 2026. Let's be real. But they're not pushing their developers hard. It's not like the common game industry tactic of overwork the shit out of your developers, push them as hard as they can. It's not that. They are definitely doing the right thing. And giving the developers, you know, time and breathing room to work. Not like round the clock crunch time, you know. You know, it sounds like they would actually be an okay place to work as a developer is what I'm saying. Which is good. You know, treat your employees well, right? And they'll produce a good product. And also, don't rush the product. Obviously, don't go out of business. But, like, we also want the product to be good. I do think the game will be a lot of fun once it's, you know, been fully released. And I hope they don't stop developing the game after it's full release. I mean, Minecraft, let's be real. We've had, what, 14 years of free updates post-release for Minecraft, and we're still getting more? It's like, clearly it can be done. And we're out of dirt. Look at that. Okay, actually, I think I'm going to go see if the bathroom is free again. And then we'll go get more dirt. Shouldn't be too much more, though. So, be right back. All right. While I'm reminded, I can talk about this other thing. So one of the sinks that we have in the bathroom area was leaking when you used it, so much that your water was going underneath the sink. That's never good. So they came and fixed it by just replacing the entire sink. Or not the entire sink, the entire faucet. And the new faucet has a significantly lower flow rate than the old one. It's kind of annoying. And I don't know if it's just like you gotta like open the water valve, or you gotta like, you got the valves, the manual valves on like the water caps. You gotta you turn them off so you can, replace the socket, and then you turn them back on. I don't know if it's just like they didn't like open them as far as they were open beforehand, or if just this new faucet is so restrictive that it lowers the output pressure so much and throughput. But like, dang, it is kind of annoying to use. Also, I don't know why my computer's been doing this, or Minecraft has been doing this. I go through a portal. It's not all the time, but I'll often just go through a portal. Whoa, that sounded fast. And it'll be like, hey, it didn't do it just there, mind you. But sometimes it'll be like, oh, we're not responding for some stupid reason. Also, interesting news. They're gonna make the end portal cancel out motion when you go through it again. Yay! Because current issue or kind of an issue that we've had with the end portal, this has kind of been the case for a while, is that it didn't technically cancel your motion. So, or it didn't, well, it used to be that it would cancel your motion, but not your fall damage. So you could still take fall damage when going through the portal. That's why we have water above the portal. And also a slime block beneath it, so that when if you, for some reason your game doesn't calculate a collision with the portal, you bounce off the slime block. We had one shulker box of that, and the rest were grass. Let's see, we have 3 shulker boxes there. 3 there. I will take just regular dirt for now. And then in one of the recent one of the recent versions, I don't remember which one it was, they actually changed it so that first of all, you can ride entities through a portal now. That was one of them. And when going through a portal, you also then keep your momentum, which was apparently a bug before. This was specifically for nether portals, but it impacted end portals as well. And so now you keep your downward acceleration as you go into the end portal, which means that if you put a slime block right beneath the end portal, you hit that, you can actually bounce on the slime block, and just like, once you spawn at the end, you're going upwards. Thankfully, that won't be the case anymore, and you just spawn standing on the platform as we used to do. But it's been interesting times, especially for those who have like no armor on. When they go into the end, and they drop down the hole, they're standing in the center because that's logic, or they're aiming in the center of the hole. That's logical. And then they weren't at full health before, and then they just die, and then they bounce on the slime blocks when they go through the portal. They're way up in the sky, and then they die of fall damage after going through the portal. Now, thankfully, I did only has 1 slime block in the center, but still. It's becoming night already. I guess we're almost done with this, and actually, we might be able to start building. It depends. We're 1 hour 40 minutes into the stream. Have we got anything else? The temperature outside has probably dropped a lot since I started the stream, and it's just going to keep dropping all night. Heck, I think I was briefly looking at the predictions. It's like 5 a.m. It's not going to stop dropping until like 5 a.m., which I guess makes sense. The sun doesn't really come up until then, I guess. I was like, oh gosh, fall's a-coming, guys. It's a-coming. 'Cause it's going to keep coming and it won't stop coming. And maybe the rain's going to come back. Or maybe not. It is kind of strange that there hasn't been much rain. I think it's rained on 2 occasions so far this school year. Here, at least. There was the one time when the rain was coming in so hard, I was hearing it against the wall right here behind my computer. Because it's like, it's an outside wall. But all the time I've been here at the school, I've never had that happen before. I've never heard it rain so hard that I could hear it very loudly inside the building. Window closed. I actually pressed record and like my microphone was actually picking up. At first it kind of just sounded like background static, but it got a bit loud. Anyhow, I guess that's should repair the Elytra. That'd be a good idea. Anyhow, I also would I'll also have to do some setup to actually get building this. Do I want to do it? I'm gonna build it in segments. Obviously, like 4 episodes. Rain. By the way, I probably haven't mentioned this. Here's all the resources. By the way, I've turned the rain particles off a long time ago because they really just messed. Not too long ago. It was in season 6, but I did it because it messes with the video bitrate, especially noticed in time lapses, where if it started raining throughout partway through the time lapse, it just kills the video bitrate. And even so, just with me, the rain, there's those quickly changing particles. That kills the bitrate. It looks terrible. Hey, speaking of rain, So, with sodium, I've just turned rain particles off. It's so much easier to just not see the rain. I mean, I can still hear it. I still see some ground particles. But the actual rain itself, gone. Ooh, oh yeah, also, when pre-release 1 for 21.9 introduced an interesting feature, the ability for you to set the world spawn point in any dimension. Not just the overworld. It's like, okay, cool, you could have a nether spawn. I don't think you could get too far by starting in the nether, but you never know. I mean, I'm swimming up water right now, but you can't get water in the nether. You can get obsidian from piglin bartering, right? But wait, how would you get gold besides killing piglins, which would be, possible, I guess, or zombified piglins? First, you kill zombie piglins, you can get some gold. Trade that to the regular piglins to get obsidian. You can build a portal. And then flint and steel. I know ruined portals are a thing you can find in the nether. Is it? I mean, you also get iron nuggets from piglins. Never mind. It's gravel. Make a flint and steel, and then you're in the overworld. So yes, it is. No, I've never heard these ambient sounds before. Anyhow, it is definitely possible to start in the nether. What the fuck is with that tapping sound? Okay. It's just like these ambient sounds, man. It's like just a continuous tapping sound. Okay. Well, that's fine. Turn my volume just off in general. Well, as farm ones. Loud farms and all. But yeah, it's like, yeah. It'd be an interesting premise for the server. We just all start in the nether, and then we have to try to work to get out. It would be very hard, actually. Because, like I said, you have to get gold to barter with the piglins with, which is not easy. Because, wait, actually, can you mine nether gold ore with, like, wood or stone pickaxe? Because there is blackstone. That works for stone pickaxes. Stone tools more generally. I know the nether update did go a long way to making the nether a fully survivable dimension. Obviously, respawn anchors being a thing, but that also requires you to be trading with piglins. Bartering with piglins. which requires gold ingots, right? And obviously there are there's two ways to get gold in the nether. You can either kill zombified piglins or mine nether gold ore. I just don't know if nether gold is mineable with a stone pickaxe. If it is, then you're fine. If not, that's a bit of a challenge. Oh yeah, I guess flint and steel also generate in nether fortresses. Oh, you can also find some gold in nether fortresses. Probably not enough to build a portal or rebuild one of those destroyed portals. You can also get diamonds in a nether fortress. Okay, I think 5%. So basically, get lucky, find like 3 diamonds in another fortress. That's possible, definitely possible. You get a diamond pickaxe, which will then allow you to mine the ruined portals from around the nether. So you mine the ruined portals, you put them together into a regular portal. You also got a flint and steel in one of those nether fortresses. You can then use that, light the portal, and then you're going to the overworld where you can do the normal survival progression. But of course, that requires you to get to that stage first. And armor is not really... Outside of leather armor, you can get that from piglins. Obviously, they drop leather. Or hoglins, even. Hoglins drop leather. And food, to be clear. Obviously, we have the nether woods. You can't use nether woods in a furnace directly. You'd have to like make them into sticks first in order to burn them as fuel in a furnace. So that's a bit of a thing. Obviously, if you can get a bucket, lava is a great furnace fuel. I guess we'll be dealing with that guy in the overworld. Yeah, it's not too much in ore. Like, obviously there's no... this... There it goes. The source of wood... Actually, do I wanna... You know, I feel like I might want to say we did the platforms. And this is going to take a while to do one of these things. I don't want to get that started in the stream now, because I want to definitely time-lapse that for the next video. I know these things aren't mutually exclusive, but I'll continue going for a little while longer here. Tease through this nether stuff. So, I don't know, should we start the next season of Coolcraft in the nether? We could. I don't know if I want to do that, though. Because that sounds like we're going to all die very quickly. The whole progression of the game is much different and then until you make a portal and then can get to the overworld. Once you're in the overworld, it's like, okay, everything's normal. But there's no guarantee that that's going to happen, right? You can't get redstone. You might... No, wait. You can't get redstone in the nether. Because I don't think piglins can barter for that. You get iron nuggets from piglin bartering. I know that. You get spectral arrows, quartz, blackstone. So yeah, you get the, obsidian and crying obsidian, obviously. Who knows what else? Well, actually, I know. I built bartering farms in the past. I just can't be bothered to think of what else. You get leather from them as well. Yeah, it is interesting to think about how would this progression work. Definitely to get to the overworld, you would either need a lot of luck in a nether fortress, which would be very perilous. To be fair, the whole thing is perilous. Or you would need piglin luck, which will require gold, but you can get some of that from a nether fortress, I want to say. But also... Oh, hey. This is a thing. I did this. You need piglin luck. You need gold, which either means you're gonna be some weird zombified piglin farm. Yeah, I think this was for the. This is all gonna get It's quiet down here. Yeah, this is all inside the perimeter, so this is gonna get, you know, exposed and removed with the World Eater. But yeah, oh man, yeah, it's very interesting problem. But yeah, you'd have to brave another. You're gonna die probably several times, because obviously the piglins are gonna just straight up attack you, right? Unless you're like spawning in a warped forest, that might be the best spawn possible. Because you spawn in a warped forest, or whatever. Crimson Forest is very bad. Anywhere you see any piglins, they're gonna want to attack you. They're probably gonna be able to easily kill you initially. Getting any sort of gold armor so that they leave you alone is not easy. You'd either need a ruined portal or something else that I can't think of right now. Oh yeah, or you know, just to find and mine enough gold or kill enough piglins or zombified piglins. Not gonna happen. I guess you can get some iron armor from piglin bartering. That is true. But yeah, they also get upset with you if you open a chest. Or basically any kind of container near them. It's like, oh, you opened a container? Hey, that was definitely my container. Meh. That's what the piglins do. It's just what they do. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to check if there any obsidian within this area. Scan area. Don't know where this is. And quite frankly, I do not care. Well, it's going here now. Wait, why didn't that? Why can't I see that? Well, let's go to the other end of the, That's a big scary cave there. Go to the other end of the, trenches. Place the other side of things, like, here-ish. Yeah. Place the other. There it goes. Alright, so that's that side here. Oh. Why is that so short? It's kind of strange. Oh. All the way over that way. Who knows what what area I was measuring with this? Not me now. I do actually not know what I was doing with this area in the past. So we boop that to here. Alright. And then, this isn't a complete picture, but you know, it's good enough. Then we go to the center. Roughly on top of the witch farm here. And the witch farm, I guess, will make the stats a little bit inaccurate with its content. I can't be bothered to remove it yet. But analyze. Alright. Let's see. That is 1,800 shulker boxes of deep slate. 1,300 shulker boxes of stone. Interesting. More deep slate than stone. You know, there's other resources here that we don't care about. Water. There is 4,000 shulker boxes of water buckets inside of this area. There's a bunch of dirt, grass. 12 shulker boxes of vines. Interesting. Ores. Let's see. We have 11 shulker boxes of copper ore. 11 shulker copper, coal. Iron has 7 shulker boxes. There's only 4 shulkers of redstone and iron. Diamonds. There's 3 shulker boxes up here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all 3 shulker boxes of that, but that's, you know, interesting. There's less gold than diamonds. Interesting. By a substantial amount. How are there 2 shulker boxes worth of cobblestone? It's a lot of cobblestone that I placed, probably. That's almost all what I've placed. Actually, I think that is all a lot of stuff I've placed. It's a bunch of lapis. Not as much as I would have thought based on how much I see in the upper layers. Okay, there are 75 shulker boxes of lava buckets. Regular gold. Regular, or just deep slate copper is not very numerous. It's less than 1 shulker boxes. Huh. There are 408 budding amethyst. There's some mine shafts in there. This is also me placing stuff. I mean, I think I know where the white glaze are out. There's some sugarcane. There's 170 deep slate coal. That stuff's rare. I'm not going to spot that, not going to bother getting it, but it's rare. Iron. Oh, right, we have a beacon here. Ow. Signs? That's also going to be this. Magma blocks. Okay, there are 82 regular diamonds. That's not very much. Sandstone. Maybe. Oh yeah, there is that kind of part of the ocean over that way that I bricked up. It's 44 raw copper, 32 raw iron. I do know I was blasting through a raw iron vein. I didn't think this farm had that much redstone on the ground, but okay. Unless there's something else in here. Slime blocks, that's the spawning machines. Buttons. Is this also part of the farm? I can't tell. Ah! 13 obsidian. We will have to remove some. Monster spawner shouldn't be an issue, because those will get blown up. Alright, I think we're mostly good. Actually, let's just quickly... where in this farm would I have walls? Maybe those walls are somewhere else. Yeah, I'm confused about where all those walls would be. But yeah, obviously we know the mine shafts here. We're gonna have, dungeons like this. Oh, there's a big ass cave system down here. Another dungeon. Can see some diamonds in the cave there. Yeah, whoa. That's pretty exposed. A fossil. Obviously fossils have a lot of diamonds on them, apparently. I'm not really seeing anything else too much of interest. There's obsidian somewhere in here. It's not very much, but it's there. So, we gotta just be cautious about it. Probably wouldn't be very bright actually now that I'm thinking about it, so somewhere like this. Oh, and hey, look, that's the... Wow. Right as I'm about to hit 2 hours, the thing that I kind of wanted to stream until happened, so yay. Yeah, I guess I'll say that, thank you all for watching. Oh, there's the obsidian right there. Hope you've enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like on the stream on your way out, and, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Check out, like, subscribe, leave a comment in chat or something, I don't know. Check out my game, linked in the description, and I see you all in the next live stream video. Bye!